We are live.
Hello, happy Monday for Money Monday.
Yes, happy International Women's Day. We're glad that Steve Saladino could join us today and share his wisdom. So we're eager to hear everything that he has to say. We were just talking about Italian cooking, which sounds so yummy. And what's your specialty, Steve?
It's probably chicken parmesan, probably, yeah. I would say lasagna, but everybody goes the lasagna route, but yeah, chicken parm.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't even ask, but is it a homemade sauce?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. And you can't do it unless you have a day to prepare it, so just so you know.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of work.
But you make enough where you can use it again if you want, or if there's going to be a family, everybody in the family here.
Now, do you call it sauce or do you call it gravy?
I call it succo. So it's a little bit different. So I guess it depends on where you're from. Our family comes from Sicily, but it's just where you come from and what the family says. So a lot of people call it sauce. We call it succo. So it's succo Sunday.
Oh, nice.
I bet those are good smells all day on Sunday, right?
Sure.
A lot of garlic.
Enough, yes. garlic, basil, olive oil. That's right.
There you go.
Enough to keep the vampires away, right? Yeah. So we have people jumping in, and we want to say hello to people as they jump in. We're talking Italian food, but that's not our topic of the day. Yeah, so we're going to welcome Steve, who's a financial, do you say advisor or planner, Steve?
Well, by trade, I'm a financial advisor, but I do planning and advising. So yeah, so it's a little bit of both. Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, we're lucky to have you here today to share your knowledge and wisdom on what you need to know to get started. And how's it going there, Mags?
It's going great. If people want to jump in and tell us where they're coming from today, who's tuning in on our beautiful sunny day we have here. So
yeah, it's sunny and about 40 in Chicago, which is great.
Can't complain there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you see people checking in?
Not too many yet, but we'll give it a minute.
Yeah. People take a minute to get settled in. Usually when things start on time, they just start dialing in at that time. So
I understand that. That's exactly how it is. So very exciting to have our Purse Strings approved providers doing our Money Mondays in the 50 and Fabulous group. Barbara and I just finished booking out March, April. So we have next month all ready to go for our 50 and Fabulous ladies. So it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, and we have some really great topics, but if there's ever a topic that the ladies are curious about, they can share that with us as well. We can get the expert. So anything that's all things financial. So Purse Strings provides information and resources as well as Purse Strings approved providers on realtors, financial professionals, lenders, family attorneys, CPAs. So the purpose of Purse Strings is to provide women free online tools and resources they can use at their leisure. It's right at pursestrings.co. Lots of resources on there, Ask an Expert, some money guides. Also, if there's a question that you don't find on the site, there's an opportunity for you to just ask it right on the site and we'll get it answered for you. But moreover, once women learn, I need to buy a house, or I want to start a budget, or I want to start investing, who can I go to? Who can I trust? We also provide a cadre of top tier professionals that we call our Purse Strings approved providers. And Steve is one of those. They've been trained and vetted by Purse Strings as those professionals who are top tier, understand the plight of women, know the stats around what women need from their financial professionals, have women's needs front and center, and address those first. They're never going to try to sell you a product. They're never going to try to push you something that you don't need. these are professionals that we've trained and vetted so that you know that you have a trusted professional that you'll be doing business with. And so every week when we present these professionals to the 50 Plus and Fabulous group, know that they've been trained and vetted by Purse Strings. They come certified as a Purse Strings approved professional. Should we get started, Maggie?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let me give an interview to Steve. He has been in the financial services industry serving individual and small business clients since 1990. He focuses on helping his clients understand the financial planning process and available solutions. His ideal client is someone who knows they need help, and wants to get started. People who see the value in partnering and don't want to go at it alone is where Steve steps in with his holistic planning approach. He's proudly serving multi-generational families and businesses. So with that, Steve, I'll give you the floor.
Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Dr. Barb. I really appreciate the opportunity and invitation to be here. I'm honored to support this group. And you mentioned earlier, happy International Women's Day. It's a great day. It's part of the reason I'm honored to be here and why I work so much with women and groups like this is that I believe, people like my wife and my mom and the females on my team should be recognized and celebrated and supported every day. So congratulations on your day, but we continue to work on having it every day. So as you heard by the bio, I've been in the business since 1990. This is right out of the military. So I'm a proud veteran. And so, being able to continue to serve was something I wanted to do. And so I found out that financial services is an area that I could continue to help others. And what I'm finding is that, I'm able to dedicate my time, and I have for over 30 years, to really financial literacy, helping people understand more about finances, the use of money, budgeting, cash flow, investing, insurance, and those types of things. I have a passion for this. This is not something that I get a stomachache on Sunday when I should be enjoying my time with my family, thinking about work on Monday. I absolutely love what I do. I know what I'm doing makes a difference. I know the people on our team are making a difference. And I feel very blessed to be in this industry. And that's why I like speaking in front of groups like this, because it continues to create awareness, not only for the industry and the opportunities, but, and again, gives me an opportunity to help educate people and provide some literacy. So I do work for Principal Financial Group, and that is really my broker dealer. And this is an area where they are really supervising my licensing and my credentialing. It is the supervisory and compliance arm of the industry. Although I'm completely independent, like a realtor, I guess, as an example, we're required to hang our shingle, if you will, or have somebody watch over our licensing to make sure that all of the work that we're doing is in the best interest of the client. They're making sure we dotted all of our I's, crossed all of our T's, considered everything that was available, and they're there as good partners and keep us all out of trouble and making sure we're doing the right thing for everybody. So that's who Principal is. My team, I'm blessed to lead a team with almost 100 financial planners and advisors. They are they're great advisors, high caliber, but more importantly, they're good people. They're trustworthy, high integrity, very, very smart, and have been in the business a long time. We make a really good team because we all work together. We grow together. We continue to professionally develop together. I could not be prouder of the team we have. And, our team represents a really inclusive and diverse group. So, when we try to help somebody out, we always want to make sure that they feel comfortable and knowing that they have somebody that is going to look like them, act like them, understand them, maybe has a nuance to maybe, a female that has been divorced that needs somebody that specializes in that, somebody from a foreign country, small business owners, up and coming young families, whatever the case might be. We want to make sure that you have the representation, or our clients have the representation that they might need. Everything I do is based on, what my mom taught us as kids, by doing the right thing, taking care of people, doing the right thing, whether somebody's watching or not. And that's kind of how we've run our business and what I would like to talk to you about today. And that, I've seen all too many times in my career and before I got into this career where women were really kind of overlooked. And, I realized that unfortunately there was a day back, in the Ozzie and Harriet days where, the men were the breadwinners and they carried the checkbooks and they drove the vehicles. I mean, I'm talking about my father and my grandparents. And my mom and my grandparents never got to go anywhere unless the husband was driving and they were going to the store. It was just the saddest thing. That's a whole nother topic and another day for us. But it was an area that I wanted to specialize in or focus on because I could see the disparity. I could see that it was not equal by any means, and there was not much respect. So in our holistic financial planning, investment and insurance management, we make sure that, we're treating women with the dignity and respect that they deserve, as well as all of our clients. Everybody deserves to be respected and treated fairly. And we also know that, that women are breadwinners and women are decision makers, and women, right now, if you look at some of the reports, women are leading right now, right next to Latins or Hispanic-owned businesses as some of the fastest-growing segments. So you should be listened to. You have a lot of needs, you have a lot to say, and you should be paid attention to. I would just tell you as part of this segment today is that when we reach out to clients, and I would encourage you to do the same. I consider it like dating or confidential complimentary consultation, if you will, and that I like to date somebody. Life is short and I want to make sure somebody's happy and they feel comfortable. And so we typically offer a confidential complimentary initial consultation, which is really intended to see if there's a personality match and if we can accomplish or support what somebody's trying to accomplish. And it should be your time to interview the person. So I encourage you to be considering that initial consultation as an interview process. Is this somebody you want to entrust your secrets with, your life savings? Is this somebody you want to spend a long-term, professional relationship with? Most of our clients, most of them are our friends. We do things outside of work together. And so that's how important it is to us. And they feel the same way. It's not just business. We become family. We become friends. So I want you to consider that. So as you're doing this, I would say that, one of the things I always encourage my advisors when they're training and they're onboarding into our firm on my team is, with anybody, eye contact is important. Paying attention to the person you're speaking to. If there's more than one person, if there's a husband and wife and a husband, partners, significant others, business partners, life partners, whatever the case might be that you're presenting to, make sure that you're listening and paying attention to everybody and you're making contact with everybody, and that you're listening to understand, not listening to formulate your next question, because we know that research would tell you that if you're doing that, you're not really listening, you're not comprehending, you probably don't care. And so for you out there in the audience, I would tell you that as you're interviewing those potential financial planners or advisors or risk managers, those are some of the signs that I would tell you, or some of the initial red flags that would tell you whether or not this may not be the best fit for you, is whether or not you're getting those fundamental, respectable things, the things of courtesy, the things that, you're asking yourself, is this person really listening to me? Do they respect me? Am I being treated equal? I can't tell you the number of times in an interview where I've seen where the male is always being asked the questions first and then the female second, or where the advisor, or whether it's in a car dealership or retail sales or in a mall or whatever it might be, where the person that is on the other side of the counter is looking directly at the male and not the female. And it disgusts me. Even to the point where in a meeting, I always hear, "Hey guys, is everybody okay?" And they just keep using the word guys. So it's just not that difficult. So that's probably the initial part that I would tell you, is treat it like a date, or an initial consultation like a date. Make sure that you have that gut feeling of the emotion and trust, looking out for those red flags, if you will. And then what I would tell you is that, in that initial consultation, I would think that the advisor or potential planner should take, of a 30-minute initial consultation, probably 5 to 10 minutes to tell you a little bit more about themselves, their team, their firm, and the kind of work they do. And the rest of the meeting, or most of the meeting, should really be about you and your family, you and your partner, you and your business. And really, it's with my intention, and it should be in that prospective planner or advisor's intention, to try to determine, based on your goals, needs, objectives, some of your styles or preferences, your timeline and your experience, really, what are we getting ourselves involved in? Is this something that we can accomplish? And I think as you ask the questions and you feel comfortable in sharing, which I encourage you to do as much as you feel comfortable doing, it gives us on this other side a better idea of, can I serve this person? Can I help them? Is there a personality match? Do I want to work with this person? And you should be saying the same things to yourself. So those are some of the things that I would ask you to do. Now, one of the things I was asked for today's presentation is really, when it comes to planning and advising, what should you ask? And one of the things I mentioned is the things that I'm asked most frequently. And we're going to be bringing up a document here in a second is, most people don't really understand what we do, what the relationship looks like, how we get paid, and what is going to be the result or the deliverable to you. So those are some of the things I wanted to go over with you today. So Maggie, if you could please pull up that PDF. And everybody will have access to this PDF afterwards. And forgive me for it not being a PowerPoint, but I wanted you to see that this is exactly what's given. And by law, I'm not able to change this. So anytime I take something out by a PowerPoint, it's as if I'm making it up myself. But I wanted you to see this. This comes directly from the Securities Exchange Commission. And right at the top there, the first paragraph at the very top, Maggie, right there. One of the things I'd ask the audience to look at is the underlined portion that says investor.gov/CRS. This comes directly from the SEC, which is on the heels of the recent changes to the Department of Labor. So we've had the Department of Labor a couple of years ago, and most recently the Securities Exchange Commission, come up with what's called the best interest rule. It's a regulation. And we're also being regulated through FINRA, which you see there in the top paragraph. And really what this means is if it had to come to this point, but I'm absolutely ecstatic that it has, because what this is doing is it's getting rid of the riffraff. It is said that no matter what we do, we have to provide this to our prospective client before we engage in services. So this is ultimately intended to provide you with a guide to what you should know. Or better yet, what should I be asking? What should I be looking for? And then it gives you a guide to know what are the choices in those things I mentioned about the different types of relationships, how you get paid, what are the deliverables and things like that. So this is for your protection. I could not be happier that this was put into regulation and is required for everybody. Another thing is as we scroll down here, you'll see what is the investment. What is it, the investment? So what's the relationship? It's either going to be an advisory relationship, which is fee-based, or it's going to be a transactional relationship, and that's commission-based. And there's no right or wrong or good or bad. It just means that depending on your situation, the advisor, and I need to tell you that if they're using the word advisor, you'd have to look on an investor website there to see, do they have the proper credentials to be calling themselves an advisor? And just because the law went into effect does not mean somebody's going to be able to call themselves an advisor without being policed. Unfortunately, we have to have people tell on them or have people be looking at them. So please be careful with that. But what is your need? What do your needs require? Is it a transactional relationship? I just want to put money in an investment and I want to be done, or I want to have a financial plan, so I need a relationship. One can be advice-based and have a fee being charged, whether it's a one-time fee or more of a retainer or consultative type of relationship where you're paying for. I have people who that pay me monthly to be able to call me anytime, like an attorney or CPA, unlimited times, and help and advice. Important to know as you scroll down is that the transactional relationship does not hold a fiduciary responsibility. And so that's a word you'd want to write down, is fiduciary. Fiduciary means that you are held to the very highest standard in the investment world. The transactional relationship does not hold that. You're paying for a commission. You're paying for somebody licensed to basically transact a sale for you, a buy and a sale, a buy and a sell or a purchase of some sort. It's a transaction. The fiduciary standard is really held under the advisory relationship, where the advice is given, where the financial planning, or where the fees are charged. And so it's important to go through that. And in each one of these sections, as you scroll through it, it's going to tell you what kind of fees would I pay, what kind of commissions would I pay, where the charges come from and what am I getting for that? And it also has in there some of the prompter, as you see right there, Maggie, in the middle, conversation starter. It'll prompt you in each one of these sections. Ask your financial professional this. Help me understand, if I give you $10,000, how much money is coming out for fees or commissions? Is there an ongoing fee? What are my risks? I mean, so it's really good prompting information, very, very educational. It really kind of takes the guesswork out for you. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down a little bit further. As you're going through this and you visit that website right there, you'll want to say right here, when I look at my financial advisor's background, when I visit that website, it's going to tell me not only what their credentialing is, but it's going to tell me their background, their licensing, whether or not they should be calling themselves an advisor, their experience, credentials, conflicts of interest. Well, conflicts of interest. So if you're on the the state of Florida House of Representatives and you are voting on something that's a municipality and that municipality is my client, that's a conflict of interest. So you need to kind of know, what are they doing on outside business activities, or what potential conflicts of interest are there? Do they have any complaints or fines or litigation that you'd want to be making yourself aware of? These are all important things for you to kind of take a look at. We call those disclosures. So I'm going to go ahead and just stop there for a second and say that in the conclusion of this form here, when you engage with an advisor and you've made the decision of which of these two relationships you want to take, they're going to give you another disclosure form, which is going to outline, again, all of those engagement features, how the person is paid, what the deliverables are going to be, what standards you're going to be able to hold them to, all the things that I just mentioned. In addition to all those conflicts, they'll give them to you in writing. It's called a Form 2A and 2B. So I'm going to stop here a second and take a breath, and Maggie or Dr. Barb, to see if there's any questions or thoughts at this point.
Hi, that's just some great information on there. This sheet, I mean, it doesn't look like something you're dying to read through, but once you kind of examine it like that, you see that it does have all the information that you're actually looking for. It just looks a little dense, but it is broken down to, the exact question you should ask, which is great,
Good point. To that point, if you don't, 1 second on that, Maggie, is it looks like it's bedtime reading material. Remember, it's been written by attorneys and regulators for the purpose of protection. Anytime somebody ad-libs, unfortunately, it gets diluted and the message does not get carried properly. And so I tell my clients, I'm proud. I want to go through this with you. I'm going to send it to you in advance for you to look at, and then I'll be glad to answer your questions. Go ahead, Maggie.
Yes, because it does look like something where you're just like, oh, sign at the bottom and continue, because that's what we're told to do.
Right.
So I just want to clarify that. So a fee is a one-time kind of commission transaction, where commission is multiple and ongoing kind of service someone would pay you for.
Almost the opposite. So I'll clarify. A commission is where a third party or a vendor or plan sponsor, like a mutual fund company, would say, Maggie came to me and said she wants to start a Roth IRA. She wants to put, $150 a month away or $1,500 a month away. That plan sponsor pays me a commission. Anytime Maggie buys, a vendor or third party would pay me a commission. On the other side, the advice or the fee could be, Maggie needs a financial plan. It's a one-time fee, and I'm going to deliver this full plan that's going to include all of this, to include all the communication you need and guidance and support. While other people say, I need a consulting service for my business or for my family, or I want to do this over time, and they just break it down. So one could be just lump sum, one could be over time, or just in time, and the other one is just every time. Okay, great.
And so this kind of document, do we always expect to receive from our financial professional before, or where do we find this? How is it presented to us so we can know more about them?
Sure. So in our example, if I had been sitting with you, Maggie, and we determined through the goals, needs, and objectives in the consultation that you wanted to start up the Roth IRA, and we decided based on what you were trying to do at this point, the transactional relationship would have been the least expensive and the most advisable route for us to take. You agreed upon it. I have to send you this form. You have to sign as received or give me verbal approval to send it to you electronically before I can move forward with you. So you're expected to receive this if you're talking to a financial advisor, if you're talking about anything investment related, and if they're an advisor. If they're not, then they're circumventing the law, or you need to check into that. But it's before the transaction takes place.
Okay, but after you have interviewed them.
That's correct.
Okay.
Before the engagement of the actual solicitation. You can interview and you can do consultation and education all day long.
Okay, interesting.
Yep.
And then would you say advisors are used to answering these questions? So many times as women, we feel hesitant to ask some of these questions and look stupid. If these are the common questions, they might just say, why don't you know it yet? Are these common? Is this a common question for you to answer?
I think that's a great question for you to ask. And that's another one of those red flags. So if somebody is rolling their eyes, or they're upset, or they seem frustrated to have to explain something to you that either you should already know, or they've said it so many times, you're dealing with the wrong group of people. Mm-hmm. If you're working with somebody who is comfortable enough to share this with you, that is pleased to do this, it's somebody that's doing this all the time, and it's the law. It's just the normal way of doing business. So that's correct.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And there's no stupid question. That really frustrates me is that I hate, because maybe somebody is embarrassed, or they think they should know, or they got burnt in the past, that we can't get past this. So, this is too important for you not to just take charge of it. And if the person doesn't react well, I'd say move on to the next person.
I think that's some great advice you're giving. Yes. So our women really get treated with the best respect. And that's always what we're looking for with our purse strings approved providers, for sure, is that you have people who listen to you and are willing to answer your questions. So that's great. All right, I'll give you the floor back.
So just kind of going down towards the end here, I would tell you that, please share your preferences with the advisor. So if you feel like, hey, Steve, you're the person we like, we really feel like we could do business with you. And to us, it's they know us, they like us, they trust us before they'll ever do business with us. And there's a long time period between there for a lot of people, because this is really, really important stuff. And so once you get to that point, then you need to open up and be honest, and know that we are held to the same standard and confidentiality as your doctor is, as an attorney is, as a CPA, even as referrals, which is the majority of my business. I don't have to, but I always say, hey, I know I don't need to say this, but I'm not going to go tell Susie, any of your stuff, and I'm not going to tell you any of her stuff either, but I need to know everything about you in order for me to help you. So, in our conversations, we learn about budgeting and debt, and I know where you spend your money, and you'll tell me where I'll find out where you shouldn't be spending it and where you're embarrassed to be spending it. I'll learn about your credit or lack of credit, just your spending, your habits, addictions. I mean, it goes. We're more than financial advisors and planners at the end of the day. With the people we work with, we end up being really just connectors. Who's a good plumber, who's a good mechanic, where did you get this, where did you get that? So, and that's good, but share your preferences, be honest, let the planner advisor get to know the real you. And then just to paint the picture, when I talk about, the client Linda, when she sat there almost 30 years ago, sharing with me as just a young person, we grew together, I'll tell you that for sure. When she shared with me her vision of retiring and the sunroom and her back patio and all the remodeling and what she wanted it to look like, and the traveling and her and her husband and the places they wanted to go. And they talked about this map that they were going to put on the wall and start charting and plotting all the places they've been, and then bringing that vision. I mean, you could go with me over there now and see the map on the wall and see the shot glasses, the little tchotchkes from the different places they visited. That helped us put together that plan. And when they chose not to spend something that they really didn't need, they just kind of wanted, it enabled that to happen. The decisions they made as they went into their financial plan on the portal and they decided, to play the what if game, it made those decisions a little bit more clear and a little bit, tougher to make, because they knew in order to get where they wanted to go, they had to make smarter decisions. So, as much as you're asking to be heard and listened to and be respected, I would just ask you to do the same thing with the person you're talking to and partnering with. We have to have good, solid, honest information. You have to be truthful with us. You have to treat us with respect. Share with us your preferences. There's clients where they tell me, Steve, unless I need to know something, I don't need to hear from you, or once a year is fine. I have other people who, when they get my market update, my e-newsletter once a month, and it talks about the market, and maybe there was a bad day or a bad month, they call me and say, oh my God, is this my account? I say, no, that's just the e-newsletter. So there's some people that are going to require more hand-holding than others, but don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I need to learn. I want to learn. I want to take ownership. I need your help. I would appreciate it if you, hold my hand through this, or take me through the steps with you. I don't want to be left, in the wind, or I don't want to be blind through this, because I personally, and my team, we want to empower you. We want you to be informed and aware to the extent that you feel comfortable. So that's kind of what I would say there at the end, is just, it's a partnership. And, a lot of people expect us to give them 110%, and then sometimes we have to chase them for 5 or 10%. That's not fair either. So just be thinking about that. This is our chosen avocation. This is the way we feed our family. But we're expected to do an awful lot, and we just need you to partner with us and be true to that as well. So, Maggie, any other thoughts or questions?
Yeah, we'll wait a couple minutes to see if anyone else has some questions to put in. But I really think that's a great example at the end. I mean, just like you were saying at the beginning, it's kind of like dating. It definitely does have to be a two-way relationship of sharing information and goals, and that way you can both help each other, and you do your best job knowing what I want in the long run, So I think that's really great. One more question is, when working with a professional like yourself, is it common that I would, if I'm doing investments, I would only work with you, or do I work with you and somebody else does the investments? How would a relationship like that work?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question, and every firm differs. There's no way I can do it all. I know how to do it all, and I have credentials to do it all, but let's just face it. I mean, more people, I think, love the team approach. The relationship is with me. If you're my client and I'm the relationship manager and I oversee everything, and ultimately I'm responsible for everything and held to the fiduciary responsibility. But when our team meets a new client, they meet the team. And unless the client is opposed to it, we share with them. Now, we're sharing this information within the confines of this organization, this team, because they're credentialed, they have malpractice insurance, all the confidentiality. But, I have my son Nelson who handles this. I have this person who handles this person who handles this. There's going to be a lot of people working on this team. But more importantly than that, if something happens to Steve, and I'm not going anywhere soon, I'm only 54, we have succession. We have more people on the team. So here in Florida, we have a place called Florida Medical Clinic, and a lot of clients or patients love the fact they come into the clinic and have everything taken care of in one building. And so, really good, consistent messaging and communication. But it's to answer your question, Maggie, everybody's a little different, but we disclose that up front. And unless the client opposes to it, that's the route we take as the team approach.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always great to have a whole team on your side.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, I don't think anyone has any more questions for today, but we really appreciate you coming on here and sharing your expertise. Your email is at the bottom, saladino.steven@principal.com. And he also has a page on our Purse Strings approved website. So you can go to pursestrings.co, since he is one of our approved providers. And we are excited to see everyone here next week back on a Money Monday. So thank you again.
Thank you, everybody, for having me. It's been an honor, and I wish you the best of luck. And I'm here if you should need help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.